I want you to think about the last time you was scrolling on social and all of a sudden you like stopped and you stopped mid-scroll and you're like, hold up, wait, what was that? You might have even went past it and came back a little bit. Think about what you saw. Think about what caught your attention and made you stop. Was it the way that the person spoke? Was it the way that they looked? Was it the way that they grabbed your attention? What was the way they grabbed your attention? Now imagine we could do that in youth ministry. Imagine they stepped into your retreat. They stepped into your youth night. And all of a sudden, they were like, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. I need to pay attention. The same way you did when you were scrolling on your phone. You see, here in America, there's some studies that have been done. And it says that the average person, again, this is average from big city to rural town to small suburb to bigger suburb, all across, the average American sees about 10,000 ads every single day. 65% of Gen Z prefers video-based communication over text. So they would rather not read the book, they'd rather just watch this video. Authenticity is the number one factor Gen Z and millennials look for in speakers and in brands. And I've even seen that because of things like the TikTok shop, companies are starting to like move away from traditional advertisement and just getting someone like, hey, yeah, I like this thing. I use this thing. And they start talking about that thing. And then all of a sudden they sell it right there on the social platform. You see, the human attention span has dropped to just 8 seconds. Less than a goldfish, what many people would say. If we don't capture attention, we'll lose engagement. But if we craft messages with authenticity, strategy, and creativity, young people won't just listen, they will actively respond.
This is what Catholic youth ministry looks like.
Exploring the 5 M's of ministry.
With Brandon Morel, also known as a symbol.
You see, y'all know I started this message. I started getting into this whole thing in youth ministry through music, right? I grew up in hip hop culture. My uncle was a DJ. In middle school, I was making beats, recording stuff. And I remember like the rap battle era, right? And it was always just like set up, punchline, set up, punchline. I'm going to craft something that makes me rhyme, and then I'm going to think of something creative and clever that, boom, hits them with a line. I thought of that when I started crafting messages, when it's like, okay, I'm not going to rap. Now I'm going to start figuring out how can I get you to understand the scriptures? How can I get you to understand the teachings of the faith? Okay, how can I use a setup, then use a punchline to connect, right? And I saw this thing about how this is not just rappers. This is actually what stand-up comedians do. Stand-up comedy is a series of setup, punchline, setup, punchline, setup, punchline, right? They grab your attention, then they hit you with something, and then you go, oh, ha, 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 and you laugh, right? That's what creates the emotion and the engagement with you. Now, what if we use that as the opening part of our strategy to teaching? You see, let me give you an example of what that could look like. I remember I wrote this thing because we were going to do this like Catholic rap cipher, and I was like, man, I got to do something that's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, what did he just say? And my opening lines were, my flow stupid, St. Isidore the farmer, yeah, the boy's gifted, go ask your mama. Mary, had you shook for a minute, huh? You see what I'm saying? That's what Christ did when he walked in synagogues. You see, I capture your attention like, oh, wait a minute, huh? Then you give them something. So here's what the setup is. The setup is how you grab their attention. You can use a story, humor, shocking facts, kind of like how I started in this video. Instead of starting with today's talk about faith or today we will be talking about, what if you just started and you just connected? What if I just started and it was just like, what if I told you faith is like Wi-Fi? You got to stay connected if you want to make it work. You see how like immediately that setup grabbed attention. Setup is using your talents, resources, abilities to grab attention. The punchline is the aha moment. That's the turning point in your message. That's where you shift the focus slightly. This part then leaves us room where we can now teach the faith, right? This is where you draw in the scripture. This is where something from the catechism, something that a pope said, something from the lives of the saints. You give them something that is a teaching of the faith. Then it shouldn't just stay there. If you want that message to be practical, you have to use this message to make them move in the world. AKA, it has to be personal. AKA, what I like to call the challenge or a question to reflect. This is that kind of gut check moment. Like, yo, now you heard this. Now you know what we teach. What are you going to do about it? This could be reflection questions like, now that you know that God is your father, how can you connect to him more often? Right? And this is where you can say, like, what is something practical you can do this week that will make you feel more connected to God the Father? How has your own father's relationship with your own father affected how you see God the Father? You see, I gave you some questions, right? Now, another challenge could be like, who is someone you need to talk to this week that you've been pushing to the side? What is something that you know you're supposed to get done, but after hearing this message today, you need to move and now go do that? These are ways in which you can challenge, make it personal so they start applying the message in their life. I want to pause for a brief moment to let you know that this series was brought to you and it was produced by Kari Films. Kari Films is a Catholic media production company whose mission is to capture the beauty of the Catholic faith. They do this through capturing live events. They do this through podcasts, testimonials, music videos, and more. You can find out more about them in the description below. Now let's get back to it. You see, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And that's where things like tone, posture, even delivery, and even the way you dress come into play. So the way you say things, if you stand up straight, if you slouch, if you lean in, if you lean back, your hand gestures, if you use a really inciting and engaging voice like this, or if you slow down your tone and drop it down like this, all of these things will create engagement in the way that you connect with young people. The eye contact, even the way you're dressed. I mean, if they see some sneakers they're like, oh man, you know about that? If they see your color coordinated, oh, wait a minute, hold on. That makes me, I remember I did this event, when it was a young adult event. It was a college retreat. And I intentionally changed my outfit for every session that we had. And like at the end, one of the college students came up to me. He's like, hey, did you do that on purpose? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, did you change your outfit every time? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, it actually helped me. He goes like, I remember the first message is about this because you were wearing this color. I remember the next message is about this because you were wearing this thing. All of these things are communicating something. Now, your presence should make young people feel invited and not intimidated. Speak with them, not at them. Now, all of this has to be wrapped in, it has to be authentic. It has to be you. Don't try and dress in a way that you think is cool, that's going to engage them. Dress in a way that you naturally feel comfortable, and they'll see that. If you naturally are like really excited, then be excited. If you're naturally a little bit more reserved, then you can be more reserved. But they should see that it's you and that you care about what you are delivering to them in many ways. You see, if you want to craft messages that truly impact young people, you have to do three things. Be real, be strategic, and be prepared. Because what we say today could change someone's eternity. I don't know about y'all, but I want to see souls in heaven. And the way that we deliver these messages will make an impact on whether or not that is. And I don't know, man, about y'all, but the way I look at that is, if I didn't give my best, that's on my soul. Have we done the best job in delivering for the young souls that we are with? I want to invite y'all to continue by liking, by commenting, by subscribing, by going to my website, beatthesymbol.com, and finding out on the newsletter how you can find out about the 5 M's of youth ministry as I develop this book, as I develop these workshops and strategies to help us be more strategic and more effective in our youth ministry. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one. God bless. Peace.